confidence is an illusion. I had a friend back when I was in primary school. Um, she was really popular, but also she had this, well, little ways of manipulating other kids. I know it's hard to believe that a kid can be manipulative, but well, trust me, I have gone through various stuff and I know what I'm talking about. About this person, not about everyone, of course. But she used to manipulate most of the classmates. She would maybe sometimes lie about herself and others to keep that position of popularity. And she used to, well, bully some other classmates and also myself. So um, it was hard to understand at that stage because I was always thinking that I was not enough, and I would always think that I actually wish that I was more like the popular kids, or wish that I could, fit in that group of people that used to, well, lie, talk about other people, and maybe sometimes even manipulate teachers, students, their parents, and others. But when I grew up a little and started to process the things that happened, and also I was distancing myself from this person and the group she was part of, I actually realized that it was all based on fear. She was so um, she was so scared that people would see the real her. People would see that she was, well, um, she was as weak as every other person. She had her own flaws, and she wasn't this perfect icon of maybe a popular girl. You know what I mean? She was so afraid of that she always had this distance with other people because she couldn't let them come closer and see that raw personality, see all the places she could be hurt. And that's when I realized that most of the time, this appearance of confidence, it it's all about actually fear. It's based on fear. Confidence on the surface always hides doubt. There are two ways for analyzing this. Number one, often when people seem too sure of themselves, cocky, or even too confident, it could actually be the opposite. They could be fighting battles and insecurities that don't really show. And also, there are people that don't feel that confidence and they want everything to go right so that they can start something, so that they can participate, so that they can talk, express themselves. I was one of those people. And take it from me. Just start, take action. I don't know, you could give yourself a pep talk in the mirror, write affirmations, take classes, or even educate yourself on the subject. Fake an ego, alter ego, and act like the person that you want to become, even if you don't feel like them yet. Imagine how they would treat others, imagine how they would carry themselves, and be that person. Um, that really, really works. It takes practice, just like every other thing that we need to learn. But if you keep doing it, you will, with no doubt, succeed. And remember to don't judge people too quickly. We all wear some kind of mask. And just be gentle and remember that we all have things we are in battle with. I started to realize these lessons after a few years of teaching, and the deeper I got, I realized that, well, these lessons weren't about kids, it was about all of us. Let's go to the next one. Kindness and consideration works better than authority and goes beyond the fear. Again, I have two examples of two of my students. Um, I had this student back when I was teaching programming. She used to have this anxiety and perfectionism. She didn't want to make any kind of mistake, and every time that something went wrong, she would have a complete mental breakdown, and it was so heartbreaking to watch. And well, we talked to her parents, and well, they seem like perfectionists also. So we realized the why, but still, it was something that we needed to fix. First step was changing her classroom and changing the scenery. It could actually give the sense of a new beginning. After that, well, I knew that I needed to do something differently than the last teacher. I needed to show her that it was okay to make mistakes. So I thought to myself, what better way to make her comprehend that mistakes are not the worst thing in the world if I did them myself? I decided to um, I decided to make some errors while talking to her, while explaining some subjects, so that she could understand that even her teacher, even the person she was supposed to learn from, could make mistakes. And that's when I well, the response wasn't immediate. Like the changes weren't immediate, but it worked in the end, and that made me really, really happy. Um, I remember that I wanted to. I remember when she couldn't solve a problem. I remember she had a question and she was starting to cry. So I sat down next to her, and when explaining that exercise, I myself made some mistakes and showed her that it was okay to start again. It was okay that I didn't understand the exercise the first time, and I solved it and saw that I made a mistake and did it again. She stopped crying at that moment, but the crying did not stop all over. So every time she used to have a mental breakdown, I would give her space. I would tell the other students to not pay attention to that well state of being, because it could actually give that student more pressure. That's why I just let her be. She cried for a while, but then it was all okay, and I didn't make a big deal about it. And I kept making mistakes and showing her that it was okay. And now, well, her teacher changed, and I hear that she can um, handle everything in a calmer and better, more positive attitude. And that makes me so happy. Power can force people, but kindness makes them want to follow. It's important to relate more than to force. Influence lasts longer when it's built on kindness. Let's go to the last lesson. Well, life is not that serious. I used to have this class when I was teaching English. They were all girls, and they were so energetic and so happy, so enthusiastic, that I loved being in their class. And one time I remember that I took a look um, at every student, and I saw their faces, their smiles, and I realized how free it was. I realized how careless it was. It was so authentic that it made me think that when was the last time that I laughed like this? When was the last time that I have laughed so freely and it felt so amazing? And that's when I realized that, well, we get caught up in adult life moments every day, and we forget to actually appreciate the little things. We forget that, well, we're just human and we are those little kids who used to take life a little more, a little lighter. And uh, just remember to have that carelessness, have that maybe even thinking about it, I still smile. That's mm, how authentic it was, and that's what you should remember too. Being happy is not about just everything being perfect. You just have to try to be happy. Just have to remember that little things can be funny too, and you have to appreciate those before it's too late. After 5 years of teaching, I thought I was teaching English, programming, but well, actually, I was studying people. And now I realize that I can use those lessons in my life. So, tell me about your stories. What were the lessons that you learned about people? Maybe we can talk about them in the comments. And remember to subscribe if you like this video. Take care of yourself until next time.